back to Health by Jessica. Today I'm doing a video that was requested by one of my patients on coconut oil and whether or not it's healthy. So is coconut oil healthy? Now, one thing we have to think about is what is the available evidence and why is there such a debate between people that say coconut oil is good for you and people that say coconut oil is really bad for you? Let's start with the naysayers. Why do people think coconut oil is bad for you? The reason is because coconut oil is very high in saturated fat. Now, saturated fat has been demonized for many years for contributing to an increased risk of heart disease, so cardiovascular diseases. That includes the heart disease and stroke. And people are also concerned that the way that this is happening is because saturated fat will increase your cholesterol levels. So people are concerned saturated fat equals high cholesterol equals heart disease. Now, that never actually has been proven in randomized controlled trials. The whole idea that saturated fat is linked to heart disease came from some early research done way back in the early 1900s by a guy called Ancel Keys, who just found this really rough association using population epidemiological data between the intake of saturated fat and heart disease. But not only does association not equal causation, but in this particular case, it was found that Ancel Keys actually just cherry-picked the studies and the countries and the populations that he wanted to use so that he could show the association he wanted to show. So not only was it not causational data, it was actually also cherry-picking. And many researchers have come in after this and tried to prove the association of saturated fat and heart disease with randomized controlled trials. And no one's ever been able to prove that increasing your saturated fat leads to heart disease. So with that into consideration, you have to go, well, is coconut oil really bad for you? Everyone always says, coconut oil is so bad for you, blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's saturated fat, blah, 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 blah. No one's ever given another rationale for it. So I'm very skeptical as to why it would be bad for you. And the other thing to think about is some people do have a response to fat such that their cholesterol does increase, and that can freak people out. So they might start including coconut oil in their diet and then realize that, whoa, my cholesterol is increasing. This must be a really bad thing. I'm gonna get heart disease. I've got to stop this coconut oil. But what needs to be considered is the type of cholesterol that is increasing. So you need to sit down with a health professional that can help explain your cholesterol profile in more detail. I've actually done a video on interpreting your cholesterol and I'll link it below. But generally what happens is the saturated fat from whole food sources like coconut oil helps to increase your HDL cholesterol. And your HDL cholesterol is the type of cholesterol that's actually cardioprotective. So in that sense, it seems that coconut oil actually can protect you against heart disease. And that's something that's important to consider. And then I also like to think, well, what are the benefits of coconut oil and what is coconut oil? When you think about how coconut oil is made, there's very little processing that goes into actually turning that coconut into coconut oil. A coconut, as you find it in nature, is very fatty and oily, especially from the meat. And it's mainly just mechanical processing that turns it into the coconut oil and the coconut cream. So in that sense, it's not a processed food. It's actually very close to its whole food form. And we always hear people touting the benefits of whole food, which I also agree with. Something that's more close to its whole food form, especially for plant foods, is likely to be okay as part of a healthy diet. And then in terms of actual benefits, so yes, it can increase your HDL cholesterol, but some other benefits of coconut oil come from the type of fatty acid it includes, which is medium chain triglycerides. Medium chain triglycerides have many benefits. I would recommend you go look them up and see all the things that medium chain triglycerides have been shown to be able to do. But in terms of weight loss, because that's people's common concern, medium chain triglycerides actually can help to lower appetite. And if you're someone dealing with cravings or excess hunger, which is very, very common, then you can actually use coconut oil to your advantage to help lower your appetite and keep you really nice and full so that you're not having to snack so much between meals. So there are benefits to coconut oil, which in my opinion outweigh the proposed negatives of coconut oil, which haven't even proven to be true. And at the end of the day, coconut oil is a whole food. It's not a processed food. If I was comparing coconut oil and the way it was processed to something like canola oil and the way that was processed, I would much prefer to go with something like coconut oil that's closer to its whole food form. If you have any other specific questions on coconut oil and uses for coconut oil, please comment below and let me know. But I would classify coconut oil as a healthy food. It doesn't cause inflammation in the body. It's close to its whole food form, and it can really be helpful for helping people lower their appetite and increase their energy levels when they're trying to lose weight specifically. The last benefit of coconut oil, which I am just going to touch on briefly and I will link to another video, is that it can actually help with the production of ketones. Now, coconut oil has been studied in populations like Alzheimer's disease, and they've been able to show that Alzheimer's patients that were having coconut oil as a supplement to their usual diet actually improved in terms of their symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. So that's just one thing I wanted to add on the end. I think that's still up for debate as to whether or not it actually works for, all people with Alzheimer's disease, or is this something that needs to be studied further? Does it depend on the type of coconut oil and all of that jazz? But check out the video I'm linking below on that if you are interested. And yeah, I'm going to finish this now so it doesn't go for too long. But please like and subscribe. And if you have any more particular foods you're unsure about or worried about that you want me to talk about, please comment below.
Sometimes I feel like I can make you whole. I just can't change my emotions.